Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for being patient with our technical difficulties. And this is real life. So we figured out a way around it. And we're just going to jump right in. And I'm just flustered. I'm not going to lie. It's a little frustrating when you think something's going to work and it's not. But you know what? We're overcomers. We made it work. So Heather, I am so excited to be doing this with you, right?
Woo-hoo!
We made it. We did it.
Yay.
Okay. So we're not gonna this is not scripted. This is just real life. Heather's kids are gonna come in and yell and scream because she's a mom of 4 littles. And that's just how it's gonna go. So again, I'm just kind of a little flustered, so I'm bringing myself back. But I wanna jump on here and just introduce my dear friend Heather. Her and I were having a great conversation yesterday. We are not only friends, but we are our business partners as well. And I was asking her some questions about her experience and her journey on her health, in her health. And she shared some things with me that really touched me. And I was like, oh my goodness, girl, so many people need to hear your story. So Heather has been married to her wonderful husband for 10 years. She has 4 children. She is a birth doula, and she is a former Saint-sation, which me and my daughter thought was so cool when I found that out about Heather. So I've asked Heather to come on here and just share a little bit about her health story, because I know that so many people need to hear some of the struggles that she's been through and how she has overcome. And the girl is in a size 6 after 4 kids. So Heather, I'm going to let you just share a little bit about your story, and I'll ask you some questions. And if you just want to jump in and share some other details, that's fine too. Okay.
Awesome. So thank you, Danielle. Danielle's amazing. If y'all don't know her, her and I have met probably about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And she has been such a joy. She has pushed me outside my comfort zone. That is the only reason, one of the only reasons why I'm here and I get to share my story. But I just love her, and she's an amazing friend, an amazing coach, and even an amazing mentor. And I'm just excited to be here. So a little backstory of me. I was just, an all-American family growing up. We didn't really know a lot about health and wellness. My dad traveled a lot, and he was on the road. So that meant my mom would do microwavable food or even fast food drop-ins. And so we really didn't grow up in a home where nutrition was a priority. And you kind of carried that on into your next season of life. So going into college and moving into my adulthood, I was definitely making, the normal college eating habits. And it just started to, escalate into just bad habits. So
So I gotta just say that, like I said, when I found out that you were a former Saint-sation, I am a huge Saints fan. I even wore my fleur-de-lis earrings for this chat. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your experience as a Saint-sation. I mean, I know that in your past you did a lot of dance, and that's how you kept your physique through your early childhood and your teens. So tell me about your experience with the Saint-sations and how that impacted your health, and then moving forward into having children.
Yeah, so I was always been very active. I danced all through junior high, high school. So my activity level always outweighed my lack of good nutrition. So I always had a very good dancer build. And then when I started my career as a Saint-sation, me, as an 18-year-old, it was kind of like a culture shock, because I went from high school pretty much straight to the pros, and we had high expectations, as a New Orleans Saint-sation, but I was still very uneducated on what proper nutrition was, and I just got to a place where I was a busy college student. I was traveling to practices 2 or 3 times a week, going to the Sunday football games. And if anybody's watching this that was a former Saint-sation, you can totally relate to this. And, it was a stressful life. It was so much fun and so amazing, but with that comes lots of responsibilities. And so we were expected to look a certain way and to, you know, meet these expectations. And I was just not very educated on how to, you know, how to take care of my body. And so that just, you know, kind of led to experiences of, you know, being in the locker room and having this display of gumbo and chicken and all this amazing stuff. And we would never dive into it because we didn't want to be on the field with our pooches hanging out. And we just, it was, you know, just this cycle of like, we were expected to be a certain way, but we really weren't educated and we didn't have a clue on how to even take care of our bodies.
Man, wow. Thank you for sharing all that. Now we are on Zoom, so things are a little different. If you could click manage participants as the host, Heather, and just mute everybody out, that'd be great. Because a lot of people are using Zoom on here for the first time and they don't know how to mute themselves. Hey, Denise, thanks for jumping on. Unmute me.
I gotcha.
Okay. All right. So I'm unmuted. All right. Good deal. So thank you so much for sharing that. I can imagine how stressful that would be to have those expectations really about your health. And I know that the world gives us a certain image of what the world thinks that we should be, a certain size or a certain body image. And that can really wreak havoc on women. And so thank you for sharing a little bit of your story about that. So, okay. After college, you met your amazing husband of 10 years, and you're now a mom of 4 kids, ages 8, 6, 4, and 3. And yes, I had to write that down because that is way too many kids for me, right? I'm so happy for you, but wow, hands full. We all know that having kids really changes our body. So kind of bring us up to speed on what led you to where you are today.
Yes. So I did take a little note so I can stay focused,
and I want to know how in the world you went from a size 8 as a sensation, having 4 kids, and now you're a size 6. We all want to know the answer to that question.
Yeah. So honestly, it really came with education and awareness of fueling your body and giving your body the things that it needs to thrive and to optimize at, you know, top metabolism levels and different things like that. So it really was a transition throughout my motherhood of learning and doors opening up to walk that out. And so, like I said earlier, really my activity just outweighed my lack of nutrition till a tipping point. I got pregnant with my first, and I remember, I mean, I gained, you know, great 50 pounds, and I was just doing the thing that I knew to do, you know, eating as I wish. My exercise activity minimized pretty much after I stopped dancing. I was able to drop off most of the weight, but I would always like hold on to an extra 15 pounds. And I remember, more importantly, I just didn't feel fantastic. You know, lack of energy. My mood was just a little off. My skin, I noticed that my skin, I started having breakouts, and throughout my first, second, and even third pregnancy, it just kind of escalated, and I kind of just dealt with it. It was kind of just like normal life to me. And I'm like, I guess this is what it looks like being a mom, and, you know, just going through the motions of your body changing. And so I kind of dealt with it for, you know, 4, 5 years into that first season. And then I remember eventually getting to a point where I'm like, something has to give, something has to change. And I started researching like, what do I need to do to create this energy, or what, you know, what foods and all this. So I went on this detailed search for answers. And I remember as I began to search this, I remember just seeing over and over, like, diet. It's so important what you put in your body. And so I started researching, and I found myself pregnant with my 4th child. And at this point, I remember thinking, no, actually it was right before I got pregnant. I started paleo. I did paleo diet for 4 to 5 months. Okay. And I felt amazing. Like I had energy, my skin cleared up. I could tell that my body was changing through nutrition. And if y'all have ever done any kind of strict nutrition plans, especially paleo, like it's a whole transformation. Like it's a big deal. And I did really well for 4 to 5 months. And then I remember Mardi Gras came and I wanted some king cake. And that was the beginning of another cycle of going down, making bad choices of eating. Then I got pregnant with my 4th. And so it was almost like one thing after the next of why I couldn't get back on my healthy regimen. But I remember when I got pregnant with my 4th, I continued just researching, about the importance of health. I had a little postpartum depression after my 3rd, and that led me into really seeking out, pregnancy, nutrition, looking up options for birthing, postpartum periods. And I got really, really interested in just that general area. And that even led me to doors opening for me to become a certified doula. That pregnancy was the first time I actually hired a certified doula to be at my birth. And her and I are super close. We're actually business partners now in our little doula business. And so it was just a turning point to open up, not only for just proper nutrition, but just your body during pregnancy, after, delivery, postpartum, and just what, as a woman, how to take care of your body, how to balance it. And it, at that point is when I really started to realize that how important it was to get your body balanced. Let me make sure I'm staying on track here. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. And, I just want to point out, I have so many friends that have tried different diets, right?
Yes.
Keto is real big, paleo, the Atkins diet. There are many diets out there that can, in fact, help you correct a health issue, right? So we're not really here to talk about curing health issues. I want to just really focus on, was that sustainable for you, right? Because, hello, we do live in Louisiana. Mardi Gras king cake is in my kitchen right now, right? So yeah. Was that really a sustainable lifestyle for you? Did you find that, yes, you felt better, your skin was clearing up, but hello, pregnancy, hello, Mardi Gras. So yeah. You're that friend that researches everything. That's one of the things that I love about you. I know if I have a question about something related to an ingredient or a new product that comes out, I already know you're on top of it. I can come to you and say, Heather, what about this? I'm not that person. I tell people to go to the website if they need to know the ingredients. That's just not my personality. But I love that about you. So tell me about the sustainability, about the dieting that you tried, and what led you to supplementation, and why you choose the supplementation that you take today.
Yes. So great point. As I began to research and I started to dive into educating myself on just proper nutrition, diet, I started looking into supplementation, and especially the big topic of gut health. And it's not an accident that I have a degree in microbiology, which is all around the gut microbe. And so that really was something I was passionate about learning more about. And so the more I researched that, it talked about specific supplements that were really good when it comes to, refueling and rebuilding your gut, and what that can do to your body and your mood and your weight and all these different things. And the more and more I researched, the more I reached out to, okay, I need to get these supplements. And so I went to many local naturopaths. I talked to lots of friends, got stories and contacts. I spent thousands and thousands of my husband's money on supplements. And interesting enough, even though I was spending lots of money, I really still wasn't feeling the best version of myself like I had when I had that clean diet. So I almost thought, I guess this is what I'm going to have to do and I didn't realize that it was, the certain supplements that I was using wasn't the right ones for my body. But anyway, so I had a good friend who I had a relationship with. She was also another homeschool mom that approached me about a company called Plexus. And I remember I had never heard of the company. And when she came up to me, she was a real science person too. So she was talking a lot of science. And so I could, I was interested, but I remember thinking, no thanks. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with your supplements. I have all of mine. I'm good. Like, I know my research. I don't need anybody coming and telling me their stuff and how their stuff's better than what I'm taking. And I was just kind of a supplement snob. And so even after me telling her no, she ended up giving me one of her main gut health products, one of their probiotics. And I remember taking it mostly because she was my friend. But I remember about 2 or 3 days later, I called her and I'm like, look, this is probably a fluke, but my mood is completely different. Like, I don't feel as agitated when I wake up to my 4 kids. Now, that might sound extreme, but she told me, she's like, no, the formula in this probiotic actually increases your serotonin. Like, this is what it's supposed to do.
It's our happy pill.
And I'm like, okay, well, let me start transitioning off what I'm on and try these, these other supplements. And little did I know that led to me not only feeling the way that I felt when I was doing strict paleo, and what I also remembered was supplements are something that enhances what you're doing. It's a gateway between perfect nutrition and being from New Orleans and being from an Italian family who loves carbohydrates, who Mardi Gras comes around once a year, and now they're serving king cake pretty much 6 months out of the year, to realizing that these supplements were the thing that I needed to bridge that gap, and how living a paleo lifestyle, even though that is for some people, and I am a huge advocate for nutrition and healing of the body with foods, there was that missing link that not only balanced the body and made me feel as if, my body is getting the nutrients that it needs, but it's also controlling those cravings, the sugar cravings, and balancing my blood sugar and balancing all this amazing stuff. And I didn't realize how amazing supplements were until I had stuff that was working. Because all day long, I can talk about the science behind it. I can talk about how, as a birth doula, Plexus has the best multivitamin, even as a prenatal, on the market. I can talk about how they have one-of-a-kind probiotic. I can talk about how they have one of the only plant-based omegas, and all the science nerds would understand those things. But the reality is, even as a science nerd, I was taking supplements that looked good on paper that, until I could feel it for myself and realize that I get to enjoy life, I get to be real. I don't have to have that perfect nutrition. I strive for it, and I strive to get better and better. But I have a tool and I have a resource that can help me on the days that I don't do so well, or on the weeks that I don't do so well. And I know that I'm fueling my body with the right stuff. So I hope that's answered the question.
Oh my God. That, like, I'm just over here going, I did a live recently and I talked about how I hate diets. And so I think that's why I'm so in love with your story. Like, I've been around you. I know that you make healthy choices in your, and you have a healthy, balanced diet. I learned from you, friend. It's amazing. But you've learned and discovered how to live your best life with a balanced diet, not a perfect diet,
Yeah.
right? And we're not talking diet as in you're following a strict regimen. We're talking diet as an intake of food, right? So you found the balance to have a healthy, balanced meals and add supplementations to supplement what we are not getting from the dense, the lack of nutrients in our fuel, in our soil, that leads us to need additional. Plus, you're a mom and you're busy and you're homeschooling and you have kids' activities. There's not always time for a perfect home cooked meal. Can we just agree that life is just what it is? And sometimes we gotta, thank God for our lean protein shakes, right? That we can throw together in a shaker cup and go, take it on the go if we need to. That's what I had for dinner. So thank you so much for just being so honest and so vulnerable, especially for someone who comes from a scientific background and you really knew your supplements. And then just the fact that you had a friend that said, hey, I think these supplements could make a difference in your life. They shared what it's done for them. And then you said, okay, finally, you said, okay, I'll try it. And you really did notice a difference. It wasn't just another supplement. These supplements, as simple as they are, you started noticing a difference in the way you felt. So that is huge. And I think that's why I really was like, girl, we have to share your story. Like a lot of people, just like you and I think we don't really have a story, but you're struggling with things. You were struggling with a lot of things that people struggle with every day. And they think just like you, they just have to live with it. So thank you so much for being vulnerable and just putting your story out there. I know that this is out of your comfort zone, and I just know that us sharing what we've experienced really can impact so many lives. So before we wrap this up, I just have one question for you. One of the things that I absolutely love about doing life with you is that you are just as passionate about this industry as I am. I am head over heels in love with this industry, and I have been since I was introduced to it and stopped being a network marketing snob myself. So tell everybody why it is that you chose network marketing and why you're going all in.
Yeah, I love that. The more I am in the industry and the more that I realize the not only the relationships that it brings, but also just the impact that we get to make, the more I fall more in love with it. And it's amazing because it's, and I share this a lot, is that I love helping people. I love sharing my experience, what I've gone through, and I want that to be an inspiration and encouragement to other people that may be struggling with some of the things I was struggling with. That's kind of why I dove into being a doula. I mean, being able to serve women and to give them the options that they strive for during pregnancy and delivery and postpartum, and just loving on people through my own testimony. I get to do that through the wellness company and network marketing with health and nutrition and just balance and relationships. But the reality too is my husband is amazing. I mean, he supports my family, all my children. He goes to work every day. And I don't have to do this, but I get to, and I get to create a extra little financial area in our budget. I mean, now I get to say I'm not spending thousands and thousands of dollars on my husband's money, but I get to, because I'm sharing with my friends and I'm telling my story, and I'm helping to create a way for other people, I get compensated for that. And it's not why I share, but it's part of sharing. And it's been incredible because I can't go, if I had to go to 8 to 5 job and leave my 4 children, I would do what I had to do, but I don't have to do that. Through this industry, I get to do it on a Zoom call, on a live, if we can ever figure that out.
Right.
And I don't have to be qualified, even though, I have a degree. And that, that has been, God used that to part of my testimony, like anyone can do this. And if you have a story to share, you can do it too. And it's just a blessing to just be that vehicle, vehicle to say, this has worked for me. I know that you're struggling with this. I would love to see if it works for you. And just by being faithful and, seeing the hardships and the hurts and pains around you, just being intentional with listening to people, we get to make an income for our family, and we get to offer that financial freedom to our friends and family. So it is the best industry in the world, and there's a lot of skepticism around it, but I think that is just the enemy trying to divide people, because we get to come together, we get to build relationships, lift people up, and get health and happiness. And I'm so excited about that.
I love how you related back to one of the reasons that you love doing this, is that you experienced having a birth doula, and you loved your experience, and so therefore you wanted to share that experience with other people, and so that led you on a path of being that person for other women. And that's exactly what we do in Plexus, just experiencing the products ourselves and saying to others, oh my goodness, I want you to experience what I've experienced, so let me share this with you. And wow, that is just amazing. It's mind-blowing, and it is wonderful that we can do this just in the comfort of our home. I have on yoga pants, but you would never know that because I put on a cute top for the video, right? I mean, this is real life right here. So I want to just wrap this up by saying thank you. Thank you so much, Heather. You have no idea. I know you'll go back and you'll watch this replay, and it's probably going to touch your heart to just say, wow, just putting my story out there really could help someone. So this was a huge move for you. A lot of women would not do this. And yes, I did push you a little bit outside of your comfort zone. But I did it because I know that your story will impact somebody. So if you're watching this replay, it's because someone cares about you and shared this video link with you. Be sure to get back to that person. If you're not personal friends with Heather or myself, be sure to get back to the person that shared this video link with you, so that you can ask them the questions and find out what it is going on in your health and how our supplements could help you as well. If you're struggling financially and you need an extra income, $50 for some people is life changing. And we have an amazing business opportunity that allows you to share Heather's story, my story, Denise's story, Jennifer's story, all of your friends' story, until you have your own, to start getting people on track with their health. And that'll provide you an extra income, maybe even to be able to pay for your products. So Thursday night, I will be figuring out how to broadcast the gut health expert. So you heard Heather talk a little bit about gut health and how she's researched that. And I have a very special guest lined up for Thursday of this week. Now I just have to figure out how to get that broadcasted, since Facebook has apparently took off the going live option with friends. So thank you guys so much for your patience and the technical difficulties tonight. Thank you, Heather, for just doing life with me, girl. I absolutely love you. And I'm going to cut the recording off. And if anybody that's live with us has any questions, we can do some Q&A.